Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. Now, Governor Ambode has projected a GDP growth of 10% per annum for Lagos State over the next 10 years to peak at $355 billion from the current $135 billion. Now, the governor also wants Lagos to be the new financial hub for Africa. He's got very big plans for the state, and his blueprint shows that he's very interested in anchoring the economy on good infrastructural development, having social development and security, as well as sustainable development and environment. But some say that a GDP annual growth of about 10% seems ambitious, especially at a time when key economic indicators are mostly in the red at the national level. Ehiz Ehian joins me now to analyze this. Good morning to you, Ehiz. Ehiz is the CEO of Ferez Consulting.
Good morning, Harriet.
It's great to have you on the program. So let's talk about Lagos State. You've been in Lagos operating your business now for a number of years, and you've watched the progression, seeing the businesses grow, seeing the numbers also grow. What can you tell us about the kind of economy Lagos has?
First of all, let me start by saying that, the Lagos economy is so big that if you take out Nigeria from West Africa, the Lagos economy is actually bigger than the rest of West Africa. Ghana, Ivory Coast, all those countries put together. If you put them together, they don't generate one, their GDP is not up to $135 billion US. So the Lagos State economy is huge. It's huge. And for Nigeria, we have our GDP is about $530 billion US as at when it was rebased last year. 510 actually. 510 billion. So you're talking about Lagos State accounting for almost 25%, of the Nigerian GDP. So Lagos State economy is quite big, and I'm pleased that the governor is ambitious. But like you already noted, 10% growth is not realistic. I mean, even China has slowed down. The growth in China has slowed down over the last 10 years. China has led other nations in terms of the highest GDP growth rate. Nigeria has also done quite well. Interesting. I mean, even though Nigerians are very cynical, so they always, when they look at Nigerian economic figures, they always laugh at it as if it's not real. But the truth is that even the World Bank and the IMF, they all acknowledge the fact that in the last 6-7 years, Nigeria has been amongst the fastest growing economies in the world. But and it's not so. But how did Nigeria grow? We grew at 6-7% per annum, and now with the fact that we are we're actually tottering on the verge of recession. So the ambitious growth estimates of the governor is totally out of it. I mean, we will still grow. Nigeria, if we are able to get our act together, if the federal government gets its act together finally, and we avoid recession in 2016, if we can get 2-3% growth in 2016, I would have tried. So bearing that in mind, I don't see how Lagos State can grow faster than Nigeria as a nation, because Lagos State, despite all that going on for it, is still very much dependent upon what happens in the country. Yes. So
on a realistic note now, looking at the projection of 10% per annum, it's not realistic.
Totally unrealistic.
So what would you project it at? If, for instance, the state government wants to work towards that, looking at how it wants to grow on an annualized basis over the next 10 years, because it's got a master plan for 2025 to achieve $355 billion.
You see, for you to achieve that kind of growth, then you are going to create an environment in Lagos State that attracts investors to Lagos State. And before the investors come to Lagos State, they will come to Nigeria. Before they decide that, okay, in Nigeria, we are going to Lagos State. So it's not entirely in the hands of Lagos State. A lot depends upon what the federal government does. So if for instance, the FX regime continues to be what it is now, where the central bank is restricting transfer of funds, and Nigeria continues to be perceived as a transfer risk for FX because they can't take out their money, investors are not going to be encouraged to invest in Nigeria. So no matter how ambitious Lagos State is and whatever they do by way of getting the place secured, building the roads and improving on traffic, if investors are not coming to Nigeria, they will not come to Lagos State. So it's not entirely in the hands of Ambode. It's a lot has to depends upon what is the federal government going to do, to take us out of where we, sadly in the last six months, like many analysts have said, we're all excited, excited by the promises that were made, and we thought the federal government will hit the ground. I mean, the government of President Buhari will hit the ground running, but we've seen that, even after announcing ministers, we are still waiting for them. Apart from the emergency meeting that was held of the Federal Executive Council last week, we are still expecting the inaugural meeting of the Federal Executive Council. So I'm saying that, the kind of pace at the federal level is worrisome. And Lagos cannot outrun Nigeria. So I'm hoping that the federal government will put take charge of the economy. Now we have a Minister of Finance, and she was at the CBN retreat. I mean, my backers committee retreat a few days ago, and said some positive things. And we are encouraged, and we are hopeful again that where things will begin to move. Okay,
so now in terms of moving, let's talk about how Lagos economy has been like since 1999, and what the plans that the present governor has for Lagos State. Does it fall in line with what we've noticed since democracy? We started democratic rule in 1999 in Lagos State.
Yeah, the thing about Lagos State is that every person that has led Lagos as governor, even in the military era, has always turned out to be an action governor. Why? Because Lagos State has a robust economy and robust resources. The internally generated revenue even before 1999 was quite high. So Jakonde shined as the governor of Lagos State. I will call them action governor. The military governors that came, including Ahigbe, and many of them did well because of the fact that Lagos State, Marwa did very well as governor. So Lagos State governors have always had, if you are posted to Lagos State and you don't shine, something is wrong with you. Now from 1999, one cannot but credit Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for having the vision, to lay out. I mean, one of the things Asiwaju did when he became governor in 1999 was to put together an economic team, of the best brains. We had people like Yemi Cardoso, we had people like Wale Edun. Subsequently, Ben Akabuze joined. So they had the best brains essentially from the bank industry. They were involved in putting together a master plan for Lagos, putting together a strategy for Lagos economic development. So we saw the IGR spike from, at the time Asiwaju was leaving, I think we were already earning as much as $15 billion. 15 billion naira per month. As at 2013, that IGR had risen to let me just confirm the figure I have here. It's on average of 20 billion per month in 2013. As of last year, the IGRO had risen to 23 billion naira per month on the average. Now that's huge. Even Akwa Ibom State, Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, which are the highest earning oil producing states, how much do they collect from the federal allocation every month? So there's no excuse for Lagos State not to do well.
So that means it actually falls in line with what this new context of what the governor of Lagos State governor wants to do, as Governor Ambode wants to do right now. It falls right in line with it, and so it is probable that Lagos State could achieve that 10% annual growth.
No, it won't achieve 10%. You see, the point is that
by 2025.
Yeah, it will grow, but that growth will be, you cannot 10%. 10% growth. Even China at its peak, I think the average was 9%.
Okay, so let's talk about specifics now.
Okay, yeah.
Let's talk about specifics. In terms of specific, how can it be achieved? What are the building blocks? If it might not get up to 10%, if it gets up to 5 or 6%, all well and good for Lagos State. So let's look at those specifics that could help Lagos State begin to achieve that growth.
First of all, the infrastructure of Lagos State must improve. I mean, I have lived in Lagos since 1974 when I came as a child with my mom to Lagos to join my father. So I've lived in this country, in this state now for 41 years. Even though I pay my taxes here, I'm a businessman, I employ people in this state. Now one of the fundamentals that need to happen in Lagos State is that, first of all, the road infrastructure needs to improve. Unfortunately, we have not seen roads being built in Lagos State at the pace at which the state is growing. the population of Lagos State, I mean, they are rightly contesting the official population as that the 2006 census, where they were said to be 9 million. We know that Lagos State cannot have less than 25 million people. And people keep coming to Lagos. But the roads that we had in 1974, when I came to Lagos as a child, the roads we have today, I doubt whether we have had a growth of up to 30-50% in terms of road network. The Eleki axis, there's one major road there. Ikorodu Road is still the same Ikorodu Road. Thank God for the work they've done now to expand it.
But then the governor says that there's going to be an expansion. There's going to be more roads built, about 114 or thereabout is what it's looking like. Maybe arteries, or maybe major roads.
That's very well said, but let's begin to see it happen. Because we're even seeing that, I mean, the other on Sunday I had to go through Aguda to get to, because of the traffic on Ikorodu Road. I mean, the work on Ikorodu Road is going on, but it's causing a lot of traffic. So if you are going to go from a place like Ikeja to Surulere now, you look for ways and means to avoid Ikorodu Road. So on Sunday, on my way to church, I tried to go through Ikate, and then come out at Aguda. I was shocked to see how the state of the road, I don't remember what they call that road, the road where Adetola Street is off, that major road that comes in from Ijesha into Aguda. Now that road is a major artery, very major artery, but the road is in bad condition. Now, I mean, this is even Surulere where, the last governor focused attention in terms of road repairs. If you begin to talk about a place like Meron, if you're going to go to Ayobo, you begin to go to the outskirts. You find that, if you just realize that, it's like Lagos State government under the last administration focused on the areas that we are likely to see. I mean, if you live in Surulere, if you live in Ikoyi, in VI, you are likely to see. So, which is why a lot of people accuse them of being somewhat elitist. So, I would like to see Ambode go outside of those areas that are very visible and actually begin to construct roads in Ikorodu. Go to Ikorodu, not the main road. Go outside Ikorodu. You find a friend of mine that came in on vacation from America and had cause to stay in Ikorodu. He said he regretted it. His friend forced him to stay there, and to get to the place was terrible. So I'm happy that somebody is talking about road construction. So if you are going to achieve any meaningful growth, forget 10%. 10% is not achievable in the present circumstances of the Nigerian economy and the world economy. Like I said, we are touching on the verge of recession. And I'm trusting God and believing and praying that we don't slip into recession with the kind of situation we have. The 6 trillion naira that the government wants to use, the federal government wants to budget for next year, we are still wondering how it's going to fund it, because even debt funding is not viable in the way things are. Now, talking about debt, that brings to the issue of Lagos State.
Yes, we will come back to that.
Okay.
So let's take a quick break, catch our breath, and we'll come back and continue about the debt profile. And of course, the fact you already mentioned it, Lagos State generates in fact, the largest internally generated revenue for 2014, according to statistics by the National Bureau of Statistics. So we'll take a look at that. And in line with the discussions that we're having, of course, another comments coming in on Twitter as well.
Okay.
Business Morning continues in just a moment, and will be right here with me in the studios when I return.